The chimes of time ring out the news. Another day is through. Someone slipped and fell. Was that someone you? You may have longed for added strength, your courage to renew. Do not be disheartened, I have news for you. It is no secret what God can do. What He's done for others, He'll do for you. With arms wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. There is no night, for in His light you'll never walk alone. Always feel at home wherever you may roam. There is no power can conquer you while God is on your side. Just take Him at His promise. Don't run away and hide. It is no secret what God can do. What He's done for others, He will do for you. With arms wide open, He'll pardon you. It is no secret what God can do. It is no secret what God can do.
The words dynamic disciple have been buzzing around inside my head for the last few weeks. Not related to anyone specifically in the Bible, but related to us as followers of Jesus. Dynamic in the dictionary is defined as a force that stimulates change or progress. A disciple is defined as a person who follows a leader and tries to live according to their ideas. During the last few days, I've been sent a message from one of our number here. It's a message that they heard from God, and I think it's really important that it's passed on. So I'm doing that today. But I think the real message is encouragement that might make us even more dynamic disciples. The message starts by saying, God says he will not do things our way, nor empower our own ways. He will do things his way. We're to seek and find his way for each of us, and he will empower us in these ways. Right at the start of the message, we find that God expects us to align ourselves with him, not expect him to change his standards for us. That's always a good start. The message went on, what we think is not necessarily right. We need to humble ourselves and seek what he thinks and says is right. Jesus says, I am the way and the truth and the life, and no man comes to the Father except through me. We're to seek to do and say what we hear the Father do and say by the power of the Holy Spirit, just as Jesus did after the Holy Spirit descended on him at the start of his ministry on earth. There we have the discipleship. It's only through following Jesus that we will be living the life that God planned for us. And we're promised that if we're empowered with the Holy Spirit, we have that force that stimulates change and progress. The Holy Spirit will make us dynamic. There's more to add to these words, but I think it's clear that there's already that link of dynamic disciples that came to me a few weeks ago. We are disciples listening for and hopefully hearing what God is saying to us. We're looking to Jesus as the way, the truth and the life. And we're dynamic once we become empowered by the Holy Spirit. That's not very different from the words that I shared last week, but confirmation is always a good thing. The message then continues. As a body of believers, we've acknowledged Jesus and our need of the Holy Spirit to guide and empower us. Now we need to seek just that, his guidance on a daily basis. And as we follow, we will be empowered to do it by the Holy Spirit. We may all make mistakes, but he doesn't want us to let fear stop us doing anything. If our hearts are right, and as far as we are able, we believe something to be from God, then God will teach us, even if we make mistakes, and lead us forward in his ways. Most of you will know Commissioner Harry Reid. He was the leader of the Salvation Army in the United Kingdom in the late 80s and early 90s, and recently gained nationwide fame through repeating his jump into Normandy at the age of 95. The first jump he did was when he was 20 on D-Day as a Royal Signals paratrooper. He's still a great man. He still writes wonderful words and shares that with the world. But one of his greatest things when he was the territorial commander was to give Salvationists this word: you have permission to fail. And based on that, he wrote a song that we shared just a couple of weeks ago. I dare to be different. We need to dare. Sometimes in daring, things don't go right, but we need to dare for Christ. And that's what that message said too. God will take what we do, bless it and use it. But most importantly, don't fear failure. Simply fear not trying. Finally, the message reflected the end of Acts chapter 2. It carries on saying this. The early believers became communities. They shared what they had and spent time meeting together, meeting each other's needs, encouraging one another and spurring one another on. I believe that God is saying, let us look at how we can do this today. To ask God each day to show us if we can do something to help our fellow believers in whatever small or big way He shows us. We can all make a difference in building each other up, helping one another in many ways, caring for each other with Christ's compassion, as we are all part of His body together. Then others might see how they love one another and believe. I love that linking of the first Christian community to us as a community today. Encouraging, building up and caring are things not affected by being locked down. And even meeting together can happen in new ways using technology. We are very blessed in what we have. But the big thing for me is that final sentence. You might find something else important in that word that was shared with me. But I find the thought that others might look at us, see the love that we have for each other, and believe a most wonderful challenge. We are literally called to model the compassion of Jesus, and simply by doing that, others will come to believe. You'll only model Jesus by following Him. Be a disciple. You'll only follow Him if you have the power of the Holy Spirit. Be dynamic. Be dynamic disciples. Dare to be different. Model Jesus' love and compassion, and then watch as His kingdom grows. Amen. God bless you.